No choice. Okay. Welcome. It has been a long, long time. No, not really. So this is Beyond the Veil podcast, and this is I got it right now. This is episode 9.
What? How?
9, yeah, we're on episode 9. I've my face looks different because I've changed a little. So I am Tengu, and we already know
Tribe.
Tribe is here. So Tribe and myself have been learning so much. Like, whoa, I mean, so much stuff and so much information is coming through from all angles. Tribe's going, has been doing other podcasts and it's really cool. And she's going to this event, which is going to be cool in Florida. There's the disclosure, which is going to be really cool. I look forward to hearing what happens at that. So, this evening's episode, I wanted to talk a little bit about a few things. First off, I want to talk about there was a UFOs for one. So this is aliens, paranormal, and all the jobbies. Wow, my cough is pissing me off now. So I wanted to talk a little now. I don't have a lot of information on it, but I want to talk. We all know heard about the Roswell incident, which was a UFO crash, the most famous UFO crash in the world. Everyone knows about it, and it was covered up, but now we know it was legitimate. But we know these things have been happening so much longer than just that. And there's one in particular that I would like to talk about. Now, I don't have a lot of information about it, but there was another one which was a couple of months before Roswell, and it was in Aztec, New Mexico. And I think that's a really cool name for one, Aztec. I didn't even know it existed, but there you go. It's kind of a base in New Mexico.
You know the Aztec Empire too.
Aztec, yeah, the Aztec Empire is really, really cool.
That's what some of the pyramids are too, like for Quetzalcoatl, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
You know the serpent,
the serpent, yes, is that the one eating the tail? No, it's not. It's another one.
or us, or if I'm saying that right. But
Hmm.
like some of them can be connected to self-eating serpent or the world serpent.
Hmm.
But yeah, Quetzalcoatl was the serpent that the Aztecs.
Worshipped, and then there was
Yeah,
I can't pronounce its name. It's Kublai Khan or something like that. There
Kukulkan.
was a there was I Aztec, but I wish I knew more about them. But the one this Aztec New Mexico case. So it happened before Roswell. It happened in 1948 near Aztec, New Mexico, where they say 16 alien bodies were recovered, which is a hell of a lot. Now they're all dead, so the governments took them. Now this you'll look this up, and people will look this up and will say this is a hoax. This is not real. I'm pretty on the defense with this. I think this one did actually happen, and there were
Oh yeah,
so many witnesses. Hmm?
I just said oh yeah.
Yeah, no, there were so many witnesses to this. There was 100 people that witnessed this whole incident, and the government came in and took the craft away. It was supposedly a cylinder-shaped UFO craft, which had a specific hole in it, which they jammed something into. Now, I don't know how a hole would be in it. I don't know how it even worked, but they jammed something in it to kind of pry open the craft. So this might have been an emergency switch. I don't know if these crafts had these things. Perhaps they do. And that's where apparently these bodies, and then it was taken. But there was loads of there was government agencies and stuff on site around this time, and they took the craft away and the bodies, and loads of people were have witnessed it being taken away. A truck had it covered over, so you didn't see the craft. It was a craft. But the biggest thing about this one is that it was so covered up. Like this has been classed as a hoax for ages. There was so much cover up that that people obviously were afraid to talk. I'm sure they were threatened not to say anything.
Oh yeah, by the Men in Black too, because we
Hmm.
understand these things are nothing new under the sun. It's pretty much yeah, none of this technology is new. It's just like when did they find it? When did our government find it? It
Hmm.
seems like yep. I from knowing watching Cosmic Disclosure and
Hmm.
knowing in the disclosure community, Roswell was not the first crash where they retrieved alien technology.
Yeah. Like the first guy, there was a journalist who wrote about this. His name was Frank Scully. He wrote about this, and they kind of ruined his life, made it look like he was. They ruined his life, and they said it was a hoax and it was all made up and stuff like that. Like I'm only spitting out little bits of information because I don't know a lot about it, but I just wanted to point it out there. If anyone knows a bit more about it, it would be really cool.
Yeah. You should. What's really sad is they do that to a lot of people. You should look up. I mentioned Rick Doughty a lot because he was on Cosmic Disclosure.
Hmm.
But a story about Paul Benowitz, I never like. I cried so much learning about how, like what they did to fuck with that man because he was in contact with beings, and then they pretty much used him to milk him for I don't know, like maybe his energy or the
Hmm.
contact having, and then flipped it and made him like look like he was crazy and
That's the
not.
thing. They do, yeah. And
He's
I
for the
hmm?
mental hospital too. That it's a this is a repeated pattern that happens. Some scientists too that you see that come through breakthroughs, and then they're
Hmm.
just deemed crazy, and then they're in the mental hospital. I know scientists like even from possibly not paperclip, exactly, but even from the Nazi, from when Hitler was that
Hmm.
they that would not comply, that they would just either kill or deem crazy, you know, just like they would me. As a
Hmm.
conspiracy theorist, have they would think, oh, I'm borderline schizophrenic because of what
Yeah.
I think of, but oh, am I? Or have I just been like thinking ahead? Because I feel like everything I've talked about is, it's coming to light.
It's coming
Like,
to light, yeah. It
so
really is.
they do that. And then we talked about one of the first times, I feel like maybe it was last time or two times ago,
Hmm.
CIA coined the term conspiracy theorist.
Oh
And that's
yeah, I
what
heard this.
so they implant not only like disclosure, they'll like put the truth in there and then twist it, and they'll do this, and they have people working on the internet too. They have bots, they like AI bots too that they can buy and
Oh
spread
yeah.
that look like real profiles and everything like that. So they can spread an agenda really easily, but the only like it's so easy to do because all they're trying to do is get you to look at something else as long as you're not looking at them and you're not questioning that. It's cool if you think it's aliens. They love that. They love maybe the cow mutilations. I definitely think our government was in on all they were in on
But
abductions.
when she's saying the government, it's the American government you're talking about, isn't it?
I mean,
Because we have people listening from all over. So yeah, we're talking about main like the main government. All the governments will be the
I
same.
guess I can speak for America, but like I know of all around the world, like
Hmm.
people understand that we think we're separated.
Yeah.
That their tactic for the longest time has been division, divide, conquer, domination. But yeah, we're not. I feel like if every single country can agree on not go, like they have an agreement, all of them about
Hmm.
Antarctica, that's suspect right
It
there.
is
They
suspect.
can
That's true.
they can all agree on that, but then they have these acts of war, and then we're blaming Russia or China for it's because they're all
Hmm.
keeping this from their own people, and they all know, and they all have to perpetuate the machine to make money. So like it's like yeah, they might not like each other that much, but they're all in bed with each other, and they're controlling their own people, through their own things,
Hmm.
So they're working, even learning that the cartel, they work with the cartel at the borders to smuggle in shit we talked about, not just
Yeah.
children, but organs. I'm
Oh
learning.
yeah, I've heard about this. Like I've heard about this thing. Yeah.
Have you
Oh.
seen?
Hmm?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say something about, and I knew this was true. There's a show called The Magicians. It's fucking amazing if anyone ever
I've
wants
never
to.
heard of it.
But there's fairies on there, and fairy the way they depict everything is just amazing. The fairies are not like all whimsical and stuff. Like
Oh yeah, I know.
they do protect their own, but they're very magical creatures. So pretty much people on there that could not like have access to magic anymore, they would take these fairies and cut off parts of their bodies and grind the bone of the fairies into dust and snort it so that they could use magic powers. This is so crazy because there's a guy who is like trying to disclose, or the what's it called, the funeral industry and
Hmm.
stuff. And there is a substance, like people are digging up bodies and grinding them up and doing the same things like with the bones and sorting them. And we talk about, or maybe not sorting, ingesting them. I don't know what they do, but
Ingesting them because they think they get the ancestral.
yeah, and
That shit actually happens. It's like it's an ancestral thing. But the thing is, if you grind the bones of someone that's died, first of all, that's anything that goes into you, that stuff fucks your brain up. Like it does some serious damage to your brain. It's actually a really dangerous chemical. I've seen this shit. Like I've watched documentaries on it.
embalmed too. And I guess that's an effect on it. Like it's good to have bodies that are embalmed. That's why they're digging them up and not just ones that are straight out
Yeah,
because the embalming does something. And then they're using some of this for I don't care. I don't care how crazy it sounds, guys, for meat. For there's something called soy green or something like that. Green.
hmm
I don't even know. Putin, whoever, I don't care. Just brought it up. And it's literally human flesh that's being sold.
I
And,
know. Yeah,
and
fuck. Oh, this shit is crazy. Um, yeah, I know we went a little off, but that was really what I wanted to talk a little more about. I got some more information about that crash. Hmm?
my bad. I know. I just went off,
Oh
but
no, but there was it was good to get because you mentioned Aztec. So and I've read so I'm reading more stuff about it. So the recovery of this craft by the U.S. government and military was one of the most secretive recoveries of a spacecraft with an origin unknown. So they're not entirely sure where this craft. Well, not sure. No, they wouldn't release where this craft came from. And later was rumored to have been taken to Wright-Patterson Airport. Now, Wright-Patterson Airport, right? I want to talk a little about this, right? I've for years now. I'm not. I don't live in the States, and for years, when I was younger, I used to have these dreams, right? And right when Wright-Patterson came up there, it just kind of reminded me of that. So I had this dream. Now I don't know the significance of it. It literally only came to me there. I was like, but I was a kid. I don't think it was this life. I don't think it was this life, right? I can't even tell what year it would have been. But we were in there, um, and it was as if they were getting us to do something like visualize or something like that. Like I'm not entirely sure. It could have been, would you
remote
call it
viewing.
remote viewing? It could have been. I don't know. I can only vaguely remember, but I can remember this vividly. Me and all these other kids escaping from it and running out of the airport or the that military base, right? And the one thing I remember, there's a statue out there of like a plane of the Wright brothers. I don't know, and it's one thing I remembered visually. And when I was a kid, I used to draw this image, but I never seen this image.
And, and we looked it up. Do you know that I'm related to the Wright brothers? Did I told you
You
about
told me
that?
about this, yeah, that's kind of
Yeah,
cool.
my grandma Wright. Uh-huh. And then it dates back to the Wright brothers.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So
And that
that is something. But literally just talk about this, it kind of like this is amazing because it reminded me of that, and I don't know, I didn't talk about this. I never talked about this on a podcast before. But it was a dream, but it seemed so real and vivid. Now I'm pretty sure it wasn't this current life.
no
It might have
memory,
been.
probably.
Sorry?
A memory. Bleed
Yeah,
through.
or like an alternative. It could have been an alt. It could have been an alt memory, but it was just. Well, literally, by reading this, I was like, "Shit, I remember." But it's the thing about that. I know it sounds a little simple, but it's like we were doing something. I don't know what it was. We were trying to visualize something. It could have been remote view, and I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
And we all managed to run out and escape, and that's where I seen that kind of that statue or whatever of that craft, which looked like their old airplane.
And if people
And
don't um these could be bleed through things from projects. Sounds just like that you possibly read a project. You guys
hmm
know, love Stranger Things. Everyone loves Stranger Things, but do they know
oh fuck,
it's based off of MK Ultra
hmm
and Hawk, possibly Monarch too, but I'm not sure
yeah,
like that. But like oh, your favorite character, the like little kids were oh, they were scientifically experimented on and
hmm
taken and the gate program was real. I was in the gate program in my school. And it was after school program. Like some of
hmm
us like have crazy memories of like having to test our ears for different hearing
hmm
to like it's crazy. So I believe, yeah, you probably more than likely if I was a part of a project and just because of how our things our energies line up, you probably definitely
Yeah,
were.
it's one of those things. I like it's only vivid, like it's only little pieces of it I remember,
You
and
can but yeah, that's how they do it. They fragment
mhm.
it. Can you, when you visualize it, is it almost like a still image but so clear, like that, you
It
know what
felt
I'm,
real.
yeah. So I have,
It felt real, like physically real.
yeah.
This monument, it looked real, and we
Mhm.
did talk about this before. I didn't talk about it on the podcast. We
Bronze.
looked it up and we seen the actual thing.
I was tripped out too because I was like, holy crap.
Yeah,
I was trying to see if I remembered it, but it was, I think, a bronze statue of them.
yeah, that's it exactly. That's it. A bronze statue. That's a
Mhm.
hundred. It was a bronze statue.
Picture it
So
now. Yeah.
that's the one thing I remember. So when I'm talking about this UFO, so now this was supposedly, I'm pretty sure this happened. This UFO crash happened.
Mhm.
And usually I'm the skeptical one and like this is bullshit. Now this one I genuinely feel happened even though it's said to be a fake and a fraud. I think it's been the most covered up one. Like they said the craft was roughly about 100 feet, which is feet in diameter, 18 feet tall. This is fucking big. You know,
On a tic tac.
unfortunately all the occupants of the craft died. There were 16 occupants of the craft and they were all dead. Now, the funny thing is, in that desert, there is a plaque there, and on that plaque, the plaque has been placed here. It's basically placed there to bring awareness to an event that has been taken, an event that keeps secret 59 years. Like, it might
Mhm.
have been longer now, but there's a plaque there that's been put there to remember this, even though they're saying it's a fraud.
Mhm.
So that was the Aztec, New Mexico. Um, UFO crash, and there's not a huge amount of information about it. It's a shame, but I'm pretty. And then of course there was Roswell, which is a lot more information
New
about.
Mexico is very, very, I don't know, like there's something about the energetic spots there because I've talked about Phil Schneider, rest in peace,
Mhm.
man. One of the first people I've watched, he talks about the Dulce base in New Mexico as well.
There's
So
loads of bases there.
yeah, so I feel like, and I have heard there was stuff before Roswell, which I believed, and I did
Mhm.
hear, I wasn't sure. So this just confirms to me that there were other crashes. I just didn't know the details, and I would
And
expect
like
them
this
to
one, there's
be,
very little detail.
well,
There's snippets,
how
but we've enough.
how
Hmm?
because the only thing people have to understand that they keep the history alive. I mean, things and people only live as the last thing that remembers them. So
Hmm.
once it starts to forget, it's like almost like they don't even like live anymore. But like, so people who have witnessed something like that, they like, it's amazing to have some old people around because they hold so much history. Like they people were at the Battle of Los Angeles. They saw what they saw there. Like, and they still tried to gaslight the whole public because we're all separated
Hmm.
and like put out disclosure and stuff, especially back then. And maybe I mean, it's because everything like wasn't so. I mean, they could take time to cover it up. It's not like the news, but even then with the news, everyone's bought out, so they're
Oh
not even
yeah,
they're not even reporting on the most important stuff. So like, it's even hard to know about some of. I mean, except recently when we had those orbs showing up, bro. Like,
yeah. The drones, but then wasn't there also the Phoenix Light incident, the Phoenix Lights incident, and that one, loads of people witnessed that, and there's still no
yeah, then
explanation for
the
that.
lights over the White House, that was actually
Hmm.
a warning. I forget between who. I don't know if it was like Antarctica, the people in Antarctica,
Hmm.
Nazi, the Nazi bases in or not bases, the inside world in Antarctica. Like they were
Yeah.
warned. They were trying to warn you guys about something. It was like almost this threat to push, but like, bro, they went right over the White House. If anyone's ever seen that footage, I've seen it many times. It is just a few just bright dots like the Phoenix lights
And
over
to
the
put
White House.
that there, like the White House is highly protected, so a normal craft or drone could not even get close to it.
Well, yeah, have you ever seen the Black Pyramid over the Pentagon?
No, I haven't. What's that about?
Well,
I need
there
to
I
learn about
don't
this one.
know where else this was taped, but I know there's so much evidence of this out here. People say it's fake.
Yeah, they
This
said the
video,
other that crash was fake.
and they want that too with AI. People and bots are putting AI under like everything, but this video was not fake. There's so many people who reported on it who were freaked out who got it at the same time, and I'm pretty sure it was over the Pentagon,
Hmm.
and it was just a black floating pyramid. It was a decent size. I don't know if you can pull anything up about it, but I know two distinct people got it from two different and it was really early in the morning, like when the sun was
Was
like,
it big?
I mean, you people would have to look up the image.
Yeah, okay.
It's me, yeah, because it's not small. People saw it from like from the high, like the
Like an
highway.
actual obsidian black pyramid shape.
Yeah,
Okay.
like even yeah, it was a obsidian black pyramid. So I'm not gonna say ominous, but yes,
Hmm.
it was turning.
Oh. It's like on the last podcast we talked about those weird crafts that turned a certain way.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
pyramid shaped craft, that's fascinating.
And then there's one, I don't know where this is exactly. I've seen, and uh, people's reactions are just like crazy. This is at a temple or some type of like, it would be like something like a courthouse or something,
Hmm.
but in another country. So it's like something
Okay.
different. But a bunch of people are just like filming sunset, and then they film this little ball, and it just
Ooh.
comes down, and they're all watching it, and they're all talking about like, what the fuck is that? People got like three different people got it. You can look at it. I just don't know like where it was, but it comes down, and then everyone's recording, and then it pulses, and if you even slow it down, it's crazy. It just flashes,
And
and
disappears. Oh, flew. Oh,
it shoots the fuck up. The people are like, "Whoa!" And it's like one of the coolest videos.
I'll
So
have to
that's
look that
the
up.
thing. So we just talked about how we did talk about how things lay on ley lines or energetic.
Yeah, we didn't talk about ley lines. Let's do that
Yeah, so we know ley lines and some of these things, just like the Pentagon, would be placed.
in a
The
ley line.
I'm at, anything where you're at, even that
Hmm.
temple, or well, not the temple, the place you just showed me.
That could
Like,
have been on a ley line. I'm not entirely, it probably was, but it's like where I live there in where I work or where I live, I took a picture of there's a Templars or not Templars, but they're the same fucking thing. I don't care. There's a
plus per person on the Masons one out. We were
yeah,
supposed to.
it's a Mason's building. Now it's well known Mason's building. People go into it and stuff like that. I have some sort of free reign on it because I have some links to the Masons family wise, but I'm not a Mason, so I can't say I'm a Mason right, whatever the fuck.
Pretty much though, he can get in the building because of his blood ties, and I think that's cool. He
I
can't
can
get
get
in.
in the building. I can't get
Can't
into
get in
certain
other areas
aspects, parts of the building because
because you're
personal
not.
stuff.
Yeah,
Hmm?
yeah, because you're not ranked. It would make sense.
Not ranked, yeah. So, but like when we go into these things now, people we know that the Masons have been around for years. They are linked to the Templars,
Which
but they're also set. Hmm?
yeah, Friday the 13th is marked for the ninth.
And this is what brings us. This is perfect.
Yeah,
It's tying up. So the reason I'm bringing the Masons up is because Friday the 13th today. Today now for me it's gonna finish in like 15 minutes. Friday.
damn,
Yeah, it's nearly midnight.
the sun's
Um, sun is up here. It's like pitch black here. But yeah, so Knights Templar. There's a reason behind it. Now I think you had some really cool information. I can't pull the information up here, but I'd like to find it.
just because I understood it the night because the Knights Templar were supposed to be a very holy um group of people that are
Hmm.
even about like I think in the Bible I think they held like relics or they were searching for relics like the Ark and
Okay.
the or the Holy Grail, stuff like that. So the Knights Templar, I know they have a bad name, or when people talk about Templars, the original Knights were said to be real fucking knights. Like they were
Hmm.
there,
Oh yeah.
they like the most beautiful of knights, like gangsters,
They
OG.
were they were originally made. They were basically the Roman Catholic Church had
Yeah,
had them, and they were made to go into places where they were not preach the people in that place would not preach Catholicism, Catholic religion. And my ears keep disappearing. So they were kind of the bishops and priests and stuff like that. So they can do what they want to these people, and they can be forgiven because the priest has forgiven them. And now, yes, they done some horrible, cruel things to people when they
wait,
went into the lands
uh,
when they were under the Catholic Church regime. They went into like Arabic lands, and if people didn't convert, they'd kill them.
yeah, those are the bad Templar. That's where they
Yeah,
got. name and the ritualistic ones, but I'm telling you that the original knights where they got their name and then they took it and just tainted it and inverted everything. So you'll hear of the Templars and then the Masons.
Yeah.
There's the Skull and Bones. I think Bush is related to that.
Yeah, that's true. He is.
Two others, but a lot of others. But yeah, I just wanted to people to understand that originally they were knights that were murdered. I don't know if they were burned. They were just
So
all
on Friday the 13th, they were there was a mass arrest of them. That's what happened because that's when the church kind of like, oh, they're doing their own kind of thing. We don't agree with that, and that's kind of they didn't agree. They couldn't control them anymore. So there was a mass arrest of them by King Philip the Eighth, I think it is, of France. Now King Philip of France is a fucking relation to the other kings of UK and all. They're all fucking linked.
first
There's
motherfucker.
all birth, there's all the bloods and stuff like that. So they were all arrested on Friday, October 13th in 1307. He had the Templars in France arrested and accused of heresy and offense. So yeah, so that's where this day came from, and that's why it became on the unlucky day because they were all arrested and I would presume killed. It doesn't specify because it's old history
Yeah,
and
in brutal ways.
there's a lot
Really,
of
really
information
brutal
missing.
ways. Yeah,
Hmm?
they were killed in very brutal ways. Like it's
Yeah,
I remember when I've heard the story many times and it makes me cry. And then yeah, their knowledge was taken, anything that they had was taken, and then it was inverted. Like their names, also like
yeah.
people run around saying like
They
their temp.
worshipped. They went on the ones that survived these things went on their own and they worshipped. They worshipped what you would call Baphomet. Now, Baphomet is not what you think people see Baphomet. So this is where Baphomet was. The Catholic Church portrayed Baphomet as the devil, right? Because he had horns and a ghost. That was probably not the first interpretation of what Baphomet was.
No, do you know? Can I real quick
Mm-hmm.
tell why Baphomet's like appears as a goat?
Mm-hmm.
And let me, Arkeem Ra is the one who told me this. It's because people were sacrificing for Baphomet in the name of Baphomet, but they were using goats. And he
Mm-hmm.
was like, he demanded more than a goat. I don't know if it meant like a bigger animal or human sacrifice, which would be next. So he appeared to the people back in time as the goat to, and then it scared them. So then, if you know, in some religions like goats, and I feel like other entities have done this, like and bulls are like sacred or something
Mm-hmm.
like they're looked at as not to be sacrificed and stuff. Or if you want to sacrifice it, it has to be something other than a goat. So that's why he did probably have, of course, have another physical form, but appears as the goat most because he demanded better sacrifice than goat's blood.
Yeah, the original. They say they worship Baphomet, which was this what's portrayed as the goat. But there's other interpretations that they actually worshipped a head which had multiple heads, had multiple faces around it, and that was supposed to be Baphomet. See, the Baphomet image is because of the goat thing, is because partly because the Catholic Church stated that it's a sign of the devil, which it isn't. Even though the devil, even though there's a satanic church and there's the satanic temple, they're two registered religions in America. The satanic temple and the Church of Satan are two. They're separate. They're not the same religion. But
Huh?
the Satanic Temple use Baphomet as their kind of idol. Now they're atheists. They don't actually believe in a devil. The reason they do it is because as far as they're concerned, is they're saying that we want to be registered as a religion. If the Catholic religion and the Christian religions can do it, then we should be able to do it. And that's their whole kind of thing. They don't actually worship anything. They're atheists. The Church of Satan, I don't know much about. I'm not going to talk about them because anytime you talk about them, they kind of bitch and moan. And yeah, they do. The Church of Satan, the Satanic Temple, I'm cool with them. I know people that remember them, and I know the whole kind of thing. The
Mm.
Church of Satan, I'm not going to say anything about them. They do their thing. They're whatever his name, Elver, or whatever the fuck his name is. I don't want to talk about them. I'm not going to give them any of my energy because they'll just bitch and moan if I say anything bad about them, and it's happened before. I don't say anything bad about them, but if I just mention them, they're kind
Oh,
of,
thing they're compartment. There's a bunch, not just even the two of them you're talking about. They're all compartmentalized. And then that's how cults form, even mini cults, super cults. I mean, there's people, those really weird fucking ancestral polygamy cults that are
mm.
usually start from like somebody departing from a religion or a cult that they were
Oh
in
yeah, and there's people out there.
and control, and then like tainting the book and inverting it to
Mhm.
control the
Control,
people.
100%. 100%. Like I don't know much about the Church of Satan. I know they bitch and moan on Twitter if anyone says anything about them, and they kind of troll people. So that's their thing, and I'll leave them to it. Not my problem. But there is also people that would have done these things, and they went on their own, and like you said, set up mini cults and stuff like that, and would actually do the really fucked up shit in the name of something that didn't really exist. But in saying that, when they say something that really didn't exist, you could be talking about tulpa energy and bringing in something that you could actually make a reality.
Oh yeah, and that's very. I feel like people don't understand how dangerous it is, and this goes for anyone, even the
Mind.
highest of the churches. If you're walking around parading under the name of a god
Hmm.
who especially walks in light, or even that, like these people think that the entities that like grant them stuff because their sacrifices care about them. No, if you don't get that sacrifice in, if you know you're probably the one that's going to get sacrificed, it'll probably kill you. It'll come after you.
Yeah.
Like they're serving these fucking demonic things, and they think they have love for them. There's no love there. Whatever. No, like anybody can die. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's just you can be creating tilpas, or people are just working with these forces and just being used by them. Like it's
Yeah.
just for people to think that they're special because they're no, you just got deep into it, and now it's to that point, and it's hard to get in. It's just like people would think of how the Bloods or Crips were the gangs. How
Hmm.
once you're blooded, once you're like, and you have to do a ritual even for
Yeah,
that.
there's always rituals involved.
Yeah, I think you usually have to kill someone in a gang, or
Mm.
have to and this happens in the industry, have to have sex with multiple men. It's literally embedded in
It's
gang.
there because
Yeah.
these people, we brought like this subject from Templars to this, and I think it's a really good subject to talk about because you put so much energy into this creature, this entity, and there's parasitic things out there. They exist. They genuinely do exist. And there is some crazy, and people will do anything for power and money. It's always
Oh.
going to be 100%. They will.
Mhm.
Like for even the smallest little bit of power, they
It,
will they'll do
yeah, it can be
horrendous
bought
things.
for any amount of money. If I could sit here and say even a billion, a trillion,
Hmm.
unlimited money, if I gave anyone the offer in order for someone to even for men to penetrate them, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Happens in the industry. Do you know
Yeah, it
how many
does.
they would take even less for that for like
Oh
a
yeah.
spot in the NBA? That's what's happening. These men, like, that's how it starts out, or women too, they are literally selling themselves, selling out, selling their bodies in order to get a high placement, and they will not get that high placement. You don't
No, they'll
nobody
just keep
will
doing
talk
these things.
unless yeah,
It's like a pyramid scheme.
it is exactly.
They'll do it and like, oh, I've got this much, I'll do more, and I'll go up and 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 up. This pyramid keeps going and going and going, and there's no end to it. And then they end up like losing everything on
Yeah,
their
and
own.
who
And this
knows.
this happens everywhere. It's like given any fucking energy to these things, and like there's parasitic entities, they exist and they are everywhere. I know they're everywhere.
Like,
You know
talk
how I know.
Yeah, like I was trying to talk about with like Nathan when I tried to do that podcast about
Hmm.
trap houses, and like
About which, sorry?
trap houses,
Uh-huh.
and we talked about a trap house, and trap house is just like I've been in one. I've been an addict, so like it's just where a bunch of addicts will gather to do a drug. Nobody in a trap house cares about each other or loves each other. Like me and my boyfriend, yeah, but like everybody else there don't. I've had the most friends whenever I was the worst versions of myself. Whenever I was doing drugs, because a lot of people around me were doing drugs. So a trap house literally is just even like a trap. Think of a trap. It
Hmm.
traps you and then feeds off of you. It's feeding off of everybody's addiction. Everybody's fighting. Everybody's stealing. Everybody's. getting attachments, leaving there, they're stealing from other places, like feeding their attachments other way. And then they're all going back to the shop house to chill all together with their attachments
And
and drugs.
yeah, I mean, we've talked a little about like certain things. Like I've talked about a book about this girl. I read this book and she sees things that you wouldn't usually see. And um, lately, I'm not going to say much. Stuff has been open to my eyes that I'm seeing shit as well, if you get me. But I'm not going to say much more about it. We talked about it. It's like, but these things, these entities, these things, like they are low level, but even though they're low level entities, they still are a lot more powerful than the physical person. And if
They're
someone has a weak, hmm?
Yeah, if they're low vibration. I don't want people
Exactly,
like
100%.
very weak. Like they cannot. That's why they have to live through people. That's why they have to siphon off of people. That's why they want a body so bad. They want to inhabit a physical form so bad. So pretty much that's what happened. That's what's happening. So they go after people who are dabbling
Weak.
in low level things that are lowering your vibration. And we know things that porn's a
Hmm.
portal.
It
That's low.
is, yeah.
And just even drugs, even just like your physical body, your energetic field. That's just
Spirits, like
spirits. Yeah,
alcohol. Fucking the name is in it's in the name. Alcohol, a spirit.
yeah, wines.
Spirit attached. It's literally it's fucking right there.
And I actually follow a guy. He's a writer of a book called Fire and Ice, and I have done the drug meth before, so I can talk from personal experience and from people watching people around me do it. The A lot of people on meth or certain other drugs, you can tell what drug someone's on because they're all experiencing the same thing. Something about meth, I'm not sure so much crack, but
Uh-huh.
you'll see these things called shadow beings a lot. It's
Which is
constantly like it's connected, and that drug will make you hypersexual. It usually will have people even wanting to have sex with the same sex, even if they're not that. I heard that wherever they're getting meth from, because the government is in on selling drugs on the street too, even in with the cartel or whatever, whoever, they put what's it called, spells. They do rituals over these drugs before they sell them, and people are acting like they're selling attachments. And when people are doing these drugs, they are getting the attachments. And I don't know if you ever heard of people doing the reason too they say about spirits and alcohol because there's a ritual that used to be done around alcohol or maybe
mm,
something. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about,
I do,
but
yeah.
something weird people would do around. But it was like so normal back then for them to
Yeah.
do it. Just like almost wine is. You have to understand it's chemistry and alchemy and stuff. We're dabbling in alchemy whenever even you make wine. Like you ferment fruit.
It is alchemy. It's alchemical. It is alchemy.
Yeah, it's all alchemy. So like just think of people chanting over the best wine whoever the best wine found. I'm not even gonna say whoever, and like
Yeah.
and then whoever drinks that is catching that and fall into addiction. People like to drink the same things, which I get because I like certain drugs, but like drinking is definitely crazy. And I'm not gonna say other things aren't, but I do believe it is more than just. I feel like people are tapping into, and of course, getting no sleep on some drugs.
Mm.
Some people just experience different things on ones, and the things people experience on meth are so. It's like they're seeing things that they should not, that a regular person wouldn't see, and a lot of it is because like they stay up for long periods of time,
Yeah. Sleep
and
deprived.
I mean, I
And you
don't
see
know.
more.
Yeah, the veil starts to pierce through.
Thin.
You get
Yeah.
paranoid. I mean, anybody. This is off drugs. Never took a drug ever. You stay up 3 days. Tell me how.
Mm. Oh,
It,
it weakens your aura, and
mm-hmm,
these things get in, and literally they're here, they're everywhere. They're just
everywhere.
waiting for that chance. It's like, okay, there's a weak thing. I'm jumping there. It's like people will probably say, "Oh, this is bullshit. You're not saying addiction is linked to these things." Well,
No, it is.
I'm not an expert in that, but I've seen shit, and I've seen shit. Like
Mhm.
I'm not gonna repeat what I seen, but it was in my country, in a busy street in front of kids. I seen something.
You say you're not going to do it, but you do it. Are you going to explain
I'm
it?
not gonna say what it is. It was disgusting and horrible, and I visually seen. someone do something that is just
Oh, that thing.
yes. And that was like that was in a busy and that just like what the fuck? And you're telling like people saying, "Oh no, that's just a drug." No, that person, yes, they've taken it. They've taken that drug. They've let this thing in. This thing is like, okay, oh, there's food. I'm gonna get. There's another. Oh, loads of them are gonna come in. It's like when you put like sugar or honey around something, it
Yeah.
attracts ants, and it's like one ant will go there, and it's like, oh, here's something. He'll tell the other ants. The other ants, I've literally experimented with this. Like I've put a few bits of sweet things down to try and get rid of ants, because I used to
No,
have an ant problem.
it's like a virus. People could think of it just like because we're in a holographic,
Hmm.
multifractal universe, whatever. Yeah, think of them as entities in the computer.
Yeah, exactly. A virus getting in, and then it's like one, and then another, and it's like, and then they're all around it because they this is like to these things, to these creatures, these entities, they see someone in a really drunk state, they see someone totally off their head on drugs. It's like, oh my God, this is like to them, they're just seeing a big buffet,
Yeah, that's
and they
exactly.
don't care. Like they will feed and feed and feed, and that person will not.
Yeah, see, I'm watching Supernatural, and it's like I'm starting to learn a lot more about paranormal. And here's a perfect example of what how I saw it. Like I was talking about how these entities don't give a fuck about you either. There was in this, it's so crazy. So pretty much there was this town, and to get their crops to grow, every year they were making sacrifices, and it's pretty much like the X Files. Dean and his brother just go in, and it's like every episode they go in to try to solve the mystery.
Great.
In this mystery of this town, people were getting murdered at a certain time while they were serving. I don't know if it was a Nordic or something, but it was a scarecrow. The
Oh
scarecrow.
yeah, I remember this episode. I can't remember what it was called. I remember it.
Yeah. So, what's crazy is I guess the people will pick the people and the families will pick. Oh, you. They were pretty much gonna like sacrifice their niece,
Yeah, of
and
course.
like Dean and them were fighting, and it ended up that one of the people who were trying to sacrifice their own niece, they were like, "It's okay, sweetie. Understand that we have to do this. You know, we have to do it. Like we've been doing it for so long." But as she's saying that, the fucking scarecrow and grabs this girl back, and I'm like, "Oh, you're the sacrifice." It's like, then that sucks. That sucks. You think you have control, and you think these things
That's a
like,
perfect example. Like
mm-hmm, it
you
is.
don't have control because these things they will give you everything on a gold plate, and you will have the best houses, the best cars, the best women, the best men, whatever the fuck you want. You'll get
No,
all that. You will
no.
have it all,
Think of
but
this.
there's a cost.
Yeah, think of this too. Someone told like said something. I was like, this is crazy to think. Because yeah, and God or well, we're just thinking highest level and low level. So demons and entities and Lucifer work for God.
Hmm.
If people would think of it in that way, that's a mind fuck because you can work for somebody you don't like and you don't get along with, but he does work for God in a sense that he's on God's plane, playing with the people.
Hmm.
So, um, like he is. Oh, I guess like Lucifer honestly like fears God pretty much, or
Yeah,
the highest and everything. But I forgot what I was going to say with that.
yeah.
Um,
I know what you're saying. Like they all, but they'll do their own thing. Like they're higher up. He's not going to be watching everything. They're like, well, we want to do something. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? But like, there is so many spectral entities levels that we don't even know.
oh
Our mind cannot comprehend. They
yeah,
exist. It is real.
yeah, because I.
This mask here is a kitsune mask.
Mhm,
Kitsune is a Japanese fox spirit.
mhm.
People say, oh, it's myth and legend and stuff like that. Well, it's a trickster entity, but it's also a good entity. But as with anything, there's good and there's bad. This is a yokai. A yokai can become a god, um, and they can become gods and stuff like that. Like all these things have the potential to move up in the thing, but there is trickster entities out there, like
Yeah, low key,
Loki. Loki, perfect example. Norse mythology, Loki, a
my
trickster
boo.
entity. Not so much a bad entity. Loki had a certain way with things, and I love his myths and stuff like that. Thor. the one you think would be the like I've done a little bit of Norse mythology, and Odin and all this stuff. Like I used to think, oh, this is nice, but like back when they were worshipped, they were not good. People would sacrifice their kids and shit to these
Mhm.
gods.
Just like yeah, the as like we were talking about in
Aztecs did the same thing. They all did
the
the same
Mayans,
thing. The Mayans, the Aztecs,
no,
they all did it.
they did. Oh, this is what people don't understand. That sacrificing still happens. It just
Hmm.
went in private.
Hmm.
Do it in private
Does.
now. They don't. They're not all running up to the pyramid and kicking each other down and
Yeah, they're not. They're doing
people
it
out in
secretly.
front of
The
everyone.
elites.
It's private, and I believe that some of these gods probably may be still around. Like
Hmm.
we talked about that before. Some of these gods, and we see them everywhere. The same story is told. I feel like they're living long time, and they could pretty much, yeah. They also grow too, and go through cycles. I'm sure like the gods we get tired of just fucking be, and you see this happen on Marvel too. Like
Hmm.
Loki gets tired of just being
Yeah,
that that person who just hurts people, and he wants to like. And I'm not like trying to, but I do feel like we have to understand that they too do they grow just like
they
just in
do.
things. And I feel like they're the Hollywood stars, fallen angels. A lot of the people in Hollywood, I feel like they're connected to some of these the
Ancient
Nephilim.
ones, they are. Like, what's
Thing.
that?
Yeah,
That thing they go to? The rich go to that
Bohemian Grove.
Bohemian Grove. Like that's a perfect example. Like, I'm not a big fan of Alex Jones, right? But he's the one that kind of got that video out there,
Yeah,
and we
he said
know this
shit.
shit.
People
Hmm?
always talk down on him, but I mean, I know he said some wild shit,
He says
but
some wild shit, but at the same time, there's some stuff that is. He was the one that got that video. If we wouldn't have known about that if it wasn't for him, so I have to. That's fucking dangerous shit entering there and getting that. And then they're like they found cover-ups. Of course, they found cover-ups. He got some video, but like you know that's just one that we know Bohemian Grove. That's one, but there's others out there.
yeah, and just so you guys know what we're talking about in this video, we're not just talking about them like maybe like an orgy, yeah, sexual ritual and stuff.
Hmm.
They manifested, or some of these people are not even human. What he was trying to catch on the camera was a reptilian, and if you
Hmm.
look well enough, you can see it. And this is like everywhere. I don't know if it's been like fucked with, but I've seen it many of times. Heard the screaming. I can hear it right now. And yeah, that's what these people do. Hunger Games type things. Like these
Hmm.
people get powerful,
Squid
and
Games.
yeah, like
Like that's
they can.
here's a crazy fact with the Squid Games. That actually moved that TV series, right? That's based on something that really did happen in Korea. This really happened. Similar kind of thing where these rich people pay these other people, and it's there is still proof of that, and there's not a lot out there, but that's based off something that actually really fucking happened.
H.H. Holmes. He was like he had one of the first like trap houses. Now that we talk about like whorehouse,
Mm.
one of the first serial murderers. H.H. Holmes, I think, and he's had like a mansion. I think you can like tour, but it was set up like Saw. Like if you remember some of
Oh
the Saw,
fuck, yeah, Jesus.
they get their listen. They get their inspiration from real stories or
Mm-hmm.
stories from other people and write about them and put them in movies. Like people have to understand that. Like these people aren't making just like Marvel. Like that shit is real. There's truth encoded in these. That have to do with like real people, real projects and stuff. And this is the Cornelian law.
Mm-hmm.
They you're giving them consent. You're watching it and stuff. It's a different form of consent. They think they won't have to go through karma if they're showing you what they're doing, and you're just like, oh, okay, Like I'm telling you, I've been watching or rewatching all the Marvels. This was Civil War, I think it was.
Yeah.
They name um Operation Paperclip in there.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Oh, and I'm playing Assassin's Creed Origins, and I took a
Really
look in.
great game.
Yeah, took a look in the computer and was taking pictures, and MK Ultra was named in there along with Philadelphia, which is linked to Tesla, Philadelphia experiment, and what they
Ass-
there.
Assassin's Creed is a great game because the developers of that game done a fuck lot of research to get that information out there,
Um,
hidden within that game. Like they done so much research
but
to
yeah,
to get that out. Like that has relatively close to history.
I would say that's so close to like to reality, to ancestor simulations, if there
It's
is it.
exactly ancestral simulations.
The Emulous, that makes all of the sense too, and that's why I did say like because time is not linear. Like we are the ancestors. We do talk about our ancestors, but like we have to understand, even after they die, like they become us too. Even if
Mm,
the bones are somewhere else, stuff genetically, we carry their code, and our code can be enhanced. We can go through loops where addiction, like we'll fall into loops of addiction. Hopefully, the next child can break that generational curse of addiction
mhm.
and they'll unlock other things within their genetic code. Hopefully,
But
to
you're a perfect example of someone that's changed, you know, for the better. You.
was I evil?
No, 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 as in from where you came when we started doing this whole podcasting,
Oh God, when I was gonna,
and then to where we are now. I
yeah,
mean,
I was suicide.
this is what makes this podcast
Yeah,
special.
yeah, because
And I know I keep saying I'd love us to get loads of fucking views, and yeah, I would love us to get loads of views, but at the end of the day, what we have, there's no, I'm telling you right now, there's no other podcast out there that's like this. The way, not everything we talk about, I haven't got paperwork here. I'm not looking at, oh, hold on a sec, let me just, oh yeah, this is the blah
yeah,
blah
dude,
blah blah blah
can't
blah. Blah.
do that. There's people who want to like do podcasts with. I don't know if you've probably experienced this. Me too. Who like want to go off a script, and I learned that that is a form of them putting you, whoever it is, they're trying to put you into their box.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've been doing this with Tengu, and plus I did Twitch streaming. Like a lot of people think I'm new to like this whole thing. I just never wanted to be on camera. This was
Hmm.
training too, so hopefully me and you can get into like gaming or VR, and do like our talk casts on there.
Hmm.
We'll get to that later, but yeah, it's just yeah.
It's like I enjoy listening back to this. Now, people out there, it's such a great
I have
what
to
we have is it's incredible.
grab.
Hmm?
I'm gonna grab water.
It is incredible. You should gonna grab water. Hmm. I've been doing podcasts for a long time. I've done podcasts on my own, and I done podcasts. I've even lost all the data, which had really some cool shit on it. But the fact that when I met Tribe here, I was gonna call her Chengdu. Fucking hell. When I met Tribe, like, and this whole podcast happened. This is our ninth episode of this. We've done another podcast. You already know it's Tengu
Yeah,
Tribe.
we have a whole Spotify with multiple episodes.
Yeah, and like this is gonna, I'm gonna convert this as well to this because I've got a nice new Mac that can do it.
Yeah, and Spotify has video, guys. If you didn't
I've
know,
seen that. Yeah, that's a new thing. It's a new thing. Spotify has video.
dude. Yeah, so this is gonna, yeah, it's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be cool. So we're gonna be on Spotify and stuff like that. Now, the like subscribes really help. But if they don't, you don't like subscribe, so be it. I'm not gonna say anymore. It's cool. What we got, this is special. I've not seen any other podcast like this. Most, if not all other podcasts I've watched, it's scripted. And
Yeah,
it's like, yeah,
and they even talk like one of some of the most the biggest ones. Like people have to fly into those, so
yeah.
like talk and they do dinner a day before, and even like get to talk and stuff. I mean, yeah, we hang out and stuff, but yeah, we just try to flow. I guess, and that's something that I'm not gonna change. And like if whenever he's comfortable with sharing his personal experiences, I know I'm very comfortable with sharing like my
Uh,
story because
I,
people will relate more. Like,
I keep myself a little mysterious. That's
yeah,
why these
that's
masks. There is stuff that's changing for me. Stuff I didn't really. It's been in my ancestry for a long time, and I only talked to Jordan about it recently. Or
last night. Don't say recently, like you've been talking.
oh, okay, last night.
You've been let
But
friendly.
it's shown me something more, and it's weird, and I might get into it on further when I feel a bit more comfortable discussing it. But it's definitely opened up a
Mm-hmm.
third eye, hence her name is Third Eye Tribe. It's definitely opened up a third eye, and this whole kind of mask, this whole fox thing. This is something I feel kind of connected to in some weird way. I can explain that at a later stage because again, I kind of feel it. links to different places, like because we have alts. We've alts. We've been here before.
Yeah.
We're meant to do this thing and get as much information out there. And I really hope you guys do enjoy our podcast. And yes, I would really like to keep it going. We don't do them. I'm not gonna. We don't do podcasts every week because
But shut up.
I
That's not
know. I'm just like
we
when we do it.
to do it. That's it. Like he has shit he's going through. We're not one of those people like people have podcasts where they like do this is not our job. We do this because we enjoy it. I'm not saying they don't enjoy doing it that much, but that's just not us.
Mhm.
Maybe if we get comfortable with doing it and so I'm just trying to explain this because like I know how Tengu feels. I'm not trying to yell at anyone, but it's just like it's okay that we're just doing it on our own. I've never been worried about people like people will flock or come when they want to come. People will like they'll watch. Even if you watch, you're still watching. That's still, I mean, thank you. Even if you're hating, you're still giving energy. Even
Yeah,
if
that's the energy. Yeah.
it's like I'm not trying to like be like any cocky. I'm just trying to be to the point of if you want to be a part of the new and the collapse of the program and then the reprogramming of reality because we're going from program to programmers like
We're
you will
getting close.
like support because I'm telling you I'm paying attention to everybody who's not and like when things start hitting the fan which they will and we know they will I'm not going to like be overly supportive of anyone. I've done too much of that my whole life, being the professional hype girl, hyping everyone else up. I feel like it's time to for us to love ourselves and feed into this because we love it, period. And we'll do it as we can. And I hope like everyone does stick around and they do enjoy our shows and they'll
And
go because I feel like Spotify is really important because you can hear us grow too as even friends. But you can hear how like you would think that we already knew each other from the beginning.
yeah.
And some of those paths were whenever I lived at my mom's and I was going through it. So like you can like hear a lot of like get a lot of my story of like how I even got to this because like this saved my life. I told Tengu like
This is incredible, and this is. I didn't feel that I could. I, I'm not very. When it comes to compliments, I'm a bit. I don't. I'm doing very blurry now. I appreciate it.
I know I don't know why people do that. I'm just like I'm just telling the truth. See, this is the thing too. Like, and this is not to be like ignorant or cocky either, in a sense. But whenever I'm saying something or I'm complimenting you, I'm not really even trying to make you feel good. I'm just like
Oh,
speaking how
thanks.
but like other people just like they can't take compliments and I'm just like
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm telling you how I feel personally and what I see that's it. And if you can't see it in yourself, I feel like I wish you could.
Eventually, I just. So I think, we can. I think this was a good one. Hmm?
Can you see the time? Because we got pro, guys.
We got pro, yeah, not by choice, but anyway, that's another
The
story.
universe thrusts pro upon us. Oh shit, I only have 10. My battery's at 10% too.
Okay, so anyway, right, this is great, guys. Listen, like, subscribe, whatever. It has been a pleasure, and this was episode 9. So next one will be 10. So from me, it is a goodbye, and from my
Peace out.
beautiful host here, peace out.